Self-analysis questionnaire. This was in Think and Grow Rich. I pulled this from there. I want to discuss it in the organized planning section. Now, when we refer back to the Robert Dilts model, we realize that we have a vision and everything contained within Think and Grow Rich can help us bring forth that vision. And one of the things we want to acquire is specialized knowledge or the capabilities. And we want to do our specialized knowledge, we want to perform our specialized knowledge in a way where we are planning in an organized manner. So this is why I had created that productivity training program, because it's designed to help somebody be organized with what it is that they need to focus on, their capabilities, and systematically and sequentially perform activities in the most effective way to multiply what Napoleon Hill calls QQS. What is QQS? Quality. Quality of service shall be construed to mean the performance of every detail in connection with your position in the most efficient manner possible, with the object of greater efficiency always in mind. Quantity. Quantity of service shall be understood to mean the habit of rendering all the service of which you are capable at all times, with the purpose of increasing the amount of service rendered as greater skill is developed through practice and experience. Emphasis is again placed on the word habit. And then finally, spirit. Spirit of service shall be construed to mean the habit of agreeable, harmonious conduct with will, which will induce cooperation from associates and fellow employees. This means that we operate from a spirit of harmony, win for yourself, win for the other person involved, and win for divine or evolution, or however you want to look at it, part of a bigger picture. When you create a vision of what you want to create for yourself, it's important to keep into consideration the spirit of harmony. That way, you can attract those that will be able to further your results because they will be winning as a result of it. You'll be winning. Win-win, and win for the overall evolution. Now, Peter Drucker said, any business enterprise has two and only two basic functions, marketing and innovation. Thus, our goal, if it's riches, if we want to create wealth, we have to create products and services that are needed and useful. Products and services that are valuable and are received as value and considered valuable to the clients. And this is done by innovating, figuring out what the pains, the frustrations are, and learning how to communicate to them and where to communicate to them, when to communicate to them through marketing. So innovation is figuring out what the pains and frustrations are in creating products and services, needs, desires, and so forth, products and services based on it. And marketing is our ability to cultivate within ourselves the ability to communicate effectively, to tie the bridge between the consumer, the client, and our product, so they realize that it's of benefit to them. Now, that's what we do to create results. That's how money is made. And here's another quote from Think and Grow Rich before we get into the questions. If you are one of those who believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought. It is not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based upon the application of definite principles and not by luck or chance. So thus, marketing and innovation is our focus to create riches, whether it's you being an entrepreneur to create products and services, or if you work for or within an organization to distribute, to multiply the effectiveness of the marketing, or to innovate better, bring out more yield out of time, energy, resources to serve the client better. If you have the ability to do this, then you are contributing to value, and the riches will be in direct proportion to that. So we want to focus on increasing the quality of the service we render. We want to increase the quantity, and there's many ways, creative ways of increasing quantity of reach when it comes to marketing. I did a whole discussion on Jay Abraham's book, Mr. X. I'll put a link in the description. 3 hours, different strategies for you able to do that. There are many ways of innovating, and the biggest way to innovate is to learn consultative advisory selling, and we did a discussion on spin selling by Neil Rackham, to ask very, very provocative and deeply reflected upon questions to our prospects so we can figure out what their pains, their frustrations, their needs, their desires are, and create products and services that fulfill and provide value for those areas, and they will be happy to pay. That's quality. And also the book discussion I did on Opportunity by Eben Pagan, we talked about minimal viable product, getting version 1 out, and then getting it up to version 3 as fast as possible by increasing the quality. And by increasing the quality of our product or service, then we attract more clients. So quality, quantity, and very important, the spirit. Spirit of harmony. Win for you, win for them, win for divine or evolution. If you keep all these factors into consideration, evolution, divine, win for the other person, benefit for the other person, and yourself, then you are going to thrive really well in today's world. Because people want to deal with others who are in the spirit of harmony. Annual self-analysis is an essential in the effective marketing of personal services, as is annual inventory and merchandising. Moreover, the yearly analysis should disclose a decrease in faults and an increase in virtues. Okay? Decrease in faults and increase in virtues. Now, I recommend actually going through this analysis quarterly, because if you want to make accelerated results, if you want to create wealth in an accelerated fashion, then you're going to have to put in more effort to evolve your QQS. And thus, this is a great tool to help you do that. One goes ahead, stands still, or goes backwards in life. One's object should be, of course, to go ahead. Annual self-analysis will disclose whether advancement has been made, or if so, how much. It will also disclose any backward steps one may have made. The effective marketing of personal services require one to move forward even if the progress is slow. Now, as we go through these questions, I want you to ask yourself these questions. I'm going to give my own insights and perspectives on these questions. And I want you to reflect back on how you can tie this into the key, most important elements that will drive your ability to acquire wealth, create riches for yourself, marketing and innovation. How can you improve yourself? How can you improve everybody else on your team? How could you serve your clients better as a result? And how can you figure out innovative ways to do it even better as far as greater quality, higher quantity, and in greater harmonious spirit? Question number 1. Have I attained the goal which I established as my objective for this year? It's important to take your goal as far as creating value for others, whether you are a sales rep or an entrepreneur, and break it down into how much you want to earn every year. And then take it and break it down into how much you want to earn every month. And your goal is to find unique, creative ways of creating products and services, or evolving or bundling. And a lot of things we talk about in that J. Abraham video we did on Mr. X. I'll put a link in the description. Watch that video and learn creative ways of increasing the amount of yield you get from your clients and prospects to achieve that financial goal, which is going to be a direct result of the service and the value you provide and the quantity and your ability to market and sell yourself. So by breaking it down into a yearly goal and monthly increments, you can gauge and track and measure your progress. And I recommend watching that video I did on the finance spreadsheet. I'll put a link in the description. That's my formula of how I do it. Next, number 2. Have I delivered service to the best possible quality of which I was capable, or could I improve any parts of the service? Take an inventory of yourself, your team, and how your organization, how your company, how your business interacts with prospects and clients, and figure out ways to improve the quality of service that you render as far as before you interact and ask for the transaction or the money. What kind of value are you bringing? What are you doing during the transactions, or during the point of sale, or during the rendering of the service that you can increase? And what about post-purchase? How do you deal with your clients after they have bought from you? Is there things that you could do to increase the quality of the experience? Number 3, have I delivered service in the greatest possible quantity of which I was capable? In today's world, we have the ability to reach far more of the ideal prospect easier, faster, and cheaper than ever before. And as a result of that, we have the ability to deliver quantity faster, easier than ever before when we start to think about creative ways of communicating, or I should say, marketing ourselves. And that's why it's very important for every entrepreneur to dedicate time every single day to improve their marketing. One of the things that I've realized on this journey is that sales and marketing was going to be the driving factor for my success in entrepreneurship, and it has proven to be so time and time again. And I continuously evolve and elevate my ability in consultative selling, direct response marketing, and copywriting. It is these three skills that allows me to, with quantity, reach a broader scale of the ideal prospect and connect and relate what it is that I'm offering in a way that they understand so that they're motivated to buy. So marketing is very important as far as learning. Number 4, has the spirit of my conduct have been harmonious and cooperative at all times? This includes everybody that you work with on your team. This includes vendors, clients, and everybody you're interacting with as far as business operation goes, and your entire life, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And anytime you interact with anyone, you have an opportunity to practice harmonious and cooperative behaviors or transactions or interactions. And since we attract who we are, what we put out, we are going to attract as far as clients, team members, and vendors, and whoever else that we deal with to create value for the marketplace. Have I permitted the habit of procrastination to decrease my efficiency, and if so, to what extent? Number 5, procrastination is an indicator of fear. Napoleon Hill talks about the 6 basic fears. And when we hesitate, we don't have faith. Faith is an important element when it comes to creating success. If you got something that you've created that is really valuable, you've innovated it, and you know that it's going to be of value to another person, then you are motivated and excited every single day to get that product and service into the hands of your client. And procrastination is doubt, fears, and insecurities behind the value that you provide. So this can indicate something at an identity level. That's why I recommend reading Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It could be something to do with your self-image. You might not realize how much value that you actually have. So recognize and realize how much value you have, or learn to evolve and continuously evolve that which is your product or service till you realize that it is of high level of urgency and you would be a disservice not to get it in the hands of your clients. Number 6, have I improved my personality, and if so, in what ways? Napoleon Hill talks about the pleasing personality. Now, this is not about being a people pleaser, but rather a pleasing personality. That means that when you interact with others, you interact with them in a way where they are pleasantly receiving you and they are motivated and excited to want to deal with you because you uplift them, you motivate them. And you make them feel good. People will often forget what you say, but they will rarely forget how you made them feel. So it's all about how you make somebody feel. So it's not just what you say, it's where it comes from and how you say it. So the way we evolve our personality is by having a high degree of self-confidence and self-esteem. And good books to read. Number 1 is The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden, number 1. And number 2 is watch that video I did on the self-confidence formula. If you have a high degree of core self-confidence and you have belief and faith in yourself and your products and services, you're going to communicate in a lot more of a pleasing way. You're not going to be forceful. And another good book to read is Power versus Force. We want to communicate from a place of real power, which does not include mental, physical, or emotional forcefulness in our personality. You can have a conversation with somebody and you can see how graceful and finesseful is not a word, but we'll use that as a word, with what level of finesse they're able to communicate and be effective, and that will indicate the degree of confidence and faith that they have in their product and service. And people pick up on that and choose to do business with those individuals because they are a lot more pleasant. Number 7, have I been persistent in the following of my plans through completion? Consistency and persistency are very important for creating success. Creating a plan and seeing it all the way till completion will not only produce results, give you optimization data, create success, but what you're doing is you're formulating the habit of seeing something all the way till completion. One of the things that I always emphasize in my coaching and consulting business is whatever project you start, see it all the way till completion. And unless there's an opportunistic reason to switch it out for something else, you shouldn't do so. Most of the time, it's just shiny object syndrome. We think that something better exists, when the truth is we are sitting on our own acres of diamonds. And if we only see what it is that we're doing as far as our project goes all the way till completion, not only will our self-esteem and self-confidence goes up, but we'll be able to produce some level of results. Might be actually results beyond our expectations or within our expectations, but regardless, you will learn far more by seeing things all the way till completion than you would if you just stop and move on to something else. If you do that and you do that enough, you'll create a habit of procrastination. Have I reached decisions promptly and definitely on all occasions? One of the things we have to do is develop an ability to reach decisions quickly. Decisions quickly. And the reason why we want to achieve this ability to reach decisions quickly is actions create clarity. When you decide upon something, you have to then do something. When you go and do it, you're going to get feedback. The meaning of the communication is the response you get. You will never get a response. You'll never get feedback. You'll never get optimization data unless you try something, unless you take action. And one of the things that creates high level of success is reference experience. So the more actions you take, the more reference experience you have, the more wisdom you have. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom, and wisdom is knowing the difference. So thus, if you have more wisdom, you're able to make faster decisions. But in order to acquire wisdom, you have to decide. So the more decisions you can make and the faster you can move into taking action, the more wisdom you will acquire and the easier it'll be to reach decisions. And then you'll come up with your own principles. A good book to read is Principles by Ray Dalio. Here's somebody who lives his life with principles. And over the years, as I continue to evolve in the world of business and create more and more success for myself, I create and live by principles. It's easy for me to make decisions because I have principles that have been formulated as a result of experience and knowledge that have been acquired through taking action. So the wisdom formulates the principles. Number 9, have I permitted any one or more of the 6 basic fears to decrease my efficiency? So there's a whole chapter dedicated on the 6 basic fears, and it's important to root these out because if not, they will control our lives. They are the fears of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love or someone, old age, and death. And most of these fears are subconscious. They are embedded in our identity, our self-image. So we need to do exercises, subconscious mind audios, affirmations, and various different kinds of personal development exercise to evolve our identity into one where it does not manifest, certain behaviors do not manifest as a result of fears of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love or someone, old age, or death. Number 10, have I been overcautious or undercautious? If you haven't watched the video discussion that I did on the Kabbalion, I recommend you watch that. I'll put a link in the description. And we talk about polarity and polarizing yourself. So somebody who's really effective realizes that the answer depends. So you've got a scenario, and the answer depends, and you acquire the knowledge and wisdom through experience by taking action, and then you rely upon your principles to make a decision. And lack of ability to do this is found, or its symptoms are being overly cautious or undercautious. So the answer is not the left or the right or up or down the extremities. The answer is it depends. So we're talking about polarity here. Okay, everything has poles, up, down, left, right, poor, rich, positive, negative. Everything has polarities. So thus, we want to see what we polarize ourselves to. We want to polarize ourselves to that what is related to our vision, and what we polarize ourselves to needs to be optimal for moving us forward. And it is probably not going to be in the extremities of overcautious or undercautious. So we need to train ourselves and take inventory of where we've been overly cautious or undercautious and figure out what we need to do to overcome in those areas. Number 11, has my relationship with my associates in work been pleasant or unpleasant? If it has been unpleasant, has this been partially or wholly mine? Now, always remember to take 100% responsibility for everything that happens to you in your life and everyone in your life. And what you'll find is you attract who you are. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. So by being this way, you'll attract those that will see reality from that same perspective. Or you'll be the leader and evolve your members of your team to see reality from that perspective. Number 12, have I dissipated any of my energy through lack of concentration of effort? Effort. So Robert Dilts' model helps ground us into reality. We've got our vision, we've got our identity, we've got our values and beliefs. They all have to be in alignment. Watch the video I did on it. I'll put a link in the description. We have our capabilities, we have our behaviors, and we have our environment. And thus stated, we have to focus on that what is related to our vision with concentration and effort. Put systems in place, put routines in place, and structure your workday accordingly as discussed in my productivity training program, sequentially so that you are optimal and stay concentrated towards doing only the things that are related towards your vision. Number 13, have I been open-minded and tolerant in connection with all subjects? As mentioned, one of my favorite things to do is to understand how people got to where they are. To understand people, not judge people. The goal is to realize that there's many ways of creating success. And if you keep an open mind and listen to another person communicate of how they've created success or failure in their life or how they got to where they are, all that information will go into your subconscious mind and you'll use that information to be able to move you forward towards success. But in order to gain access to that information, you can't judge that person negatively. Otherwise, that negative energy will go into your subconscious mind. So one of the things we have to do is become very tolerant and open-minded. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to believe what the person says or do what the person says or agree with the person. You just have to seek to understand. As Stephen R. Covey says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Even if you're not understood, seek to understand. That'll help you tremendously. Number 14, in what way have I improved my ability to render service? So books like E-Myth Revisited, books like the Mr. X book, J. Abraham, a lot of different ways of improving the quality of service and communicating that level of service to your ideal prospects so that people buy more and so forth and want to do business with you. But it starts with you increasing the quality of your service. So thus, taking inventory of the experiences of your clients, taking inventory of how you go about doing things in your operations, and translating it to see how it relates to the output of the business and figuring out how to optimize and get better. Number 15, have I been intemperate in any of my habits? A good book to read is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And also read the book The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, as well as The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. These books are about forming habits. And the more consistency and persistency we have on our habits, good positive habits, related to our core capabilities and behaviors, referring back to Robert Dilts' model, in the proper environment sequentially, the more we focus and discipline ourselves to stay consistent on these habits, the more results and success we'll be able to create. And where have we deviated from this, if any? Have I expressed, either openly or secretly, any form of egotism? Egotism. It's important to be humility-based, or realize that even though you might know a lot about a subject, there are two enemies that will prevent you from growing further. And that's the sayings, I disagree and I already knew that. As soon as you say, I disagree and I already knew that, to any conversation you have with anybody, you start to move into a place of egotism. Remember, the more you can listen, the more you can understand a person by releasing your grip on, I disagree and I already knew that, the more you will learn and grow and be able to adapt and adopt what is being presented to you in a way that creates success for you. Number 17, has my conduct towards my associates been such that it has induced them to respect me? Spirit of harmony. Number 18, have my opinions and decisions been based upon guesswork or accuracy of analysis and thought? So the more actions you take, the more wisdom you acquire. It's important to take notes and do a self-analysis on yourself every day to see the cause and effect. Again, related back to the Kabbalion, every cause has an effect. And as a result of that, see the kind of results you get and figure out how to change the cause within. Number 19, have I followed the habit of budgeting my time, my expenses, and my income? And have I been conservative in these budgets? Again, watch, study, and implement what I discuss in the finance spreadsheet video. How much time have I devoted to unprofitable effort which I might have used for better advantage? And that's why I created that productivity training, which is called How to Get More Productivity Out of Your Time, Your Energy, Your Resources, and Your Opportunity Costs. Those are the variables that you have to work with. And what you want to do is you want to focus your time, energy, and resources on the highest and best use activities, yourself and your team, towards marketing and innovation. Number 21, how may I rebudget my time and change my habits so I will be more efficient during the coming year? Again, related to what I just said. Have I been guilty of any conduct which was not approved by conscience? So work on ourselves, raising consciousness and doing the kind of education and trainings that were discussed in the letting go and the power versus force discussions that we did is very important, because by raising your consciousness, you have a greater sense of awareness of the implications of everything that you do. As Carl Jung said, we don't become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making the darkness conscious. What part of us have we not made conscious by looking at the results that we create? And if it harms somebody, what is it that we're doing that is the cause within? Because if you caused harm on someone, you have to track back and see how you were the cause of that and how to prevent yourself from doing it again. In what ways have I rendered more service and better service than I was paid to render, and do more of that? Have I been unfair to anyone, and if so, in what way? Again, raising up consciousness, moving into a place of unconditional love. If I had been the purchaser of my own services for a year, would I be satisfied with my purchase? Run yourself through the entire sequence. One of the things I'm doing right now is I'm optimizing my online training for entrepreneurs.com website, and I'm running through the entire sequence more mindfully now that I've carved out and dedicated time as a result of creating my 5 trainings. I'm in the process of optimization. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to increase the value and go back and realize that since I had created my body of knowledge and put it into the training, I can cultivate and further develop that site so that it's received better and the experiences for my clients are better. Am I in the right vocation? And if not, why not? Remember the Ikigai, doing what you love to do, what the world needs, what you are good at, and what you can get paid for. Those are very important elements. Has the purchaser of my service been satisfied with the service I have rendered? And if not, why not? It's important to communicate regularly with your clients. Not only could this lead to further sales, but it could lead you into better innovation as far as your operations and your fulfillment goes. And number 28, what is my present rating on the fundamental principles of success? Make this rating fairly and frankly, and have it checked by someone who is courageous enough to do it accurately, which would be your mastermind partner. So I hope you found these questions to be really useful. It's important to revisit them and dimensionalize it by what I discussed based on my own personal experience. And the goal, again, to be good at innovating in marketing so we can serve our clients better and increase our QQS, which is the quality of service, the quantity of service, and the spirit of service. If you want a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.